Hello, welcome back. This is part 3 of my Botania series. If you are new to Botania, don't forget to watch the first 2 parts of this series so you know how to get to this point. Today, we are going to be going over the Gaia arena and the Gaia boss, the dice of fate and the relics that you can get from that, and everything else that the Gaia spirits and everything that you can get from the boss arena you can do with that. If you are new here, my name is Botania. I do everything modded Minecraft. I also host a really amazing community where we have 10 plus modded Minecraft servers that you are all free to join. Just click the Discord link down below for that, and don't forget to subscribe if you like this video. What kind of loot will drop? You can get things like the Pinkinator. There's the Will of Athrim, which it gives critical hits apply weakness on your Terra Steel armor, etc. So you get some upgrades for that. It's generally going to drop some end game runes. Some Black Lotuses. If you don't know what a Black Lotus does, you can just drop it into your mana pool and it'll give you a ton of mana for free. It's going to drop more Gaia spirits. It may drop some mana diamonds, etc. And the main thing you're going to get, and each individual player that is participating will get one, okay? And it's always going to drop one for every time you do the Gaia Spirit Arena 2, is a dice of fate. Now, there are 6 you can get. So when you right-click it, you basically will roll the dice and get an item. It will never give you the same item twice. So basically, it's only going to drop once. There's 6 items to get, and for each individual player, the item will only drop once. So if you're in a big arena and there's 5 players, and you pick up something you've already gotten, you've picked up somebody else's item, basically. And if you shift on it, it says, he deals the cards to find the answer, the sacred geometry of chance, the hidden laws of a probable outcome, the numbers lead a dance. Oh God, it's all very exciting. And in this chest I have over here, these are the 6 items you are actually going to be able to get from the Dice of Fate. So you're basically you're going to want to do that arena 6 times. The first one, and this is random in what order you get them. Obviously, it's a dice. The Key of the King's Law. And what this will do is you right click it in the air and it is going to summon projectiles in the sky, and up to 20 projectiles can be created at once. Releasing the grip of the key will launch them one at a time at the point the summoner is pointing towards. And these projectiles have high velocities and explode on contact. So, oh, sorry. If we use this here, you can see I'm holding it down and I release and all of these projectiles come out. There they are, look, you can see them. You can see where I'm pointing. So it's going to go in the direction that I'm pointing at. Hold it down again. It's very fun. It is very, very fun to use. Okay, the next one is the Ring of Odin. Now, basically, when you wear this, it's going to give you plus 20 max health. It is also going to give you resistance, and indefinite protection from various kinds of elemental damage, including drowning, suffocation, fire, and starvation. You will not be able to die from those. Then there is the Fruit of Gaia. Quite simply, what this does is it will restore your hunger, except it's going to use mana to restore that hunger. So it's very useful, kind of like an unlimited golden apple. Then you've got the Ring of 4. What this is going to do is it's going to dramatically increase a Terra Shatterer's area of effect. If you don't know what a Terra Shatterer is, it can absorb absolutely ludicrous amounts of mana. It's basically like a mana tablet when tossed on a mana pool. However, any mana absorbed can't be released again, so it's non-viable as a storage device. The amount of mana stored in the tool establishes its rank, blah, blah, blah. And the amount of mana required to advance from rank to rank increases exponentially. If you sneak right-click in the air, it's going to toggle its ability on and off. And when the ability is active, it can break many blocks and a wide surface area at once. At rank C, it breaks a narrow column of blocks. At rank B, it increases a square, and surface areas increase from there on upwards. Note that rank D tool does not have the ability. The Shatterer, when active, continuously consumes its internal mana when not mining. So basically, when you drop it into like a mana pool, it's going to say take 100 mana. I don't know the actual units, but let's imagine. And then it'll go from, 1 rank to the next. To get to the next rank, rather than 100, it'll be 500, for example. And then to get to the next rank, it'll be, say, from 500 to 2,500. And it'll be exponential like that. And that is basically what that does. Then you have the Ring of Loki. This is going to allow the wearer to call upon the Trickster God's ability to effectively be in multiple places at once. you can use an equipped one by sneak right-clicking a block with an empty hand, and once that is selected, that's the origin block. So then when you sneak right-click other blocks, it's going to store their offsets from the origin into the ring. And then you're going to want to sneak right-click the origin again. Sneak right-clicking a stored block during the selection process will remove it from the ring's memory. To clear a completed selection, just sneak right-click the ground twice. After the selection is complete, multiple boxes in wireframe will be visible, moving relative to the looked-at block. When a block is placed while sneaking, all wireframe locations will have blocks placed there too, allowing for placement en masse. The Terra Shatterer and the Terra Truncator will also break blocks at these locations while sneaking, allowing for truly ludicrous quantities of destruction. Such power doesn't come for free, of course. The ring consumes mana from the user's inventory for each block placed, and note that the larger the current selection, the more expensive each placed block becomes. It's a bit confusing. I just say try it out for yourself. It's a really cool one, but it's very confusing to use until you get used to it. Then, lastly, we have the Eye of the Flugel, and this, unlike the crafted Flugel Tiara, which we are going to get onto shortly, the Eye of the Flugel contains primordial Flugel magic strong enough, in fact, to harness the Flugel's ability to recall themselves to a previously visited location. Sneak right-click this eye somewhere will bind it to that position, and holding right-click of a bound eye will then use the mana to warp its owner back to the bound location. So it's a teleport, basically, to, you know, home or wherever you want to go, maybe a nether fortress. Unfortunately, the eye is still but a fragment of the Flugel's true potential, so it can't warp its user across dimensions. Okay, so ignore what I just said. However, just having an Eye of the Flugel on hand allows the Flugel user, allows a Flugel Tiara user to fly with an empty flight bar at a higher mana cost. So, going off of that, the next thing we're going to go into is what can you actually make with these Gaia spirits? Now, the first thing you can make is the Rod of the Unstable Reservoir. That's with some Dragonstones, Gaia spirits, and Dreamwood twigs. And I've got one here. Basically, what this does is, if you hold it towards your enemies like this, it's going to fire down, and you just channel it. It's going to fire down these homing missiles at mobs, basically, at harmful mobs. And that is what this does. And it's going to use your mana. Next up, there is the life aggregator. And basically, what you can do with this is, you can use it with a monster spawner to carry it to another point. And it can only be used once. I don't really use that one personally. I don't think it's that great. I'm going to come back to this one. Then we have the Gaia mana spreader. You're going to use this with an elven mana spreader, and basically this is the best one you can get. It can shoot as much mana, you know, with potency, etc. Because it shoots so much at a time, it is going to fire a bit slower. So you could use it with a mana lens to speed it up. Then we have the World Shaper's Astroblade, and this one again is a little bit, not confusing, but I'll read it out for you guys. You're basically going to want to sneak right-click the Astroblade on a block to choose the block to be placed, and sneak right-click the Astroblade in the air to choose the number of blocks to be placed. Once a block is selected, the Astroblade will display a preview of what it would construct at a given position. To actually construct the previewed blocks using mana, as well as blocks in the user's inventory, you simply right-click the Astroblade. Blocks can also be supplied from items like a Rod of the Shifting Crust, a Rod of the Depths, or a Rod of a Hand of Ender, etc. Then we also have the Flugel Tiara, and what you can do with this is you can use it with different coloured quartz like this to give different types. So one-winged angels, Mega Ultra Chicken, Lord of the Pit, the normal Flugel, the Ice Fairy, and it's going to give you different wings. And I am not wearing mine, so you're going to put it in the head slot in your baubles, and you can see here it's going to give you wings and the tiara. Depending on which one you use, what quartz you use with it, is going to depend on what wings you get. Then we have the Charm of the Diva. This is one of my favourite ones. It's basically a mind control one that is going to turn mobs onto each other. And that's what it does. Then we have the Nimbus Amulet, and this is an upgraded version of the Cirrus Amulet. So if you don't know what the Cirrus Amulet does, it gives you the effect of double jump. This one will give you triple jump. Then we have the cloaks. There's the cloak of virtue, the cloak of sin, and the cloak of balance. The cloaks of judgment are a set of cloaks that can be worn in the body trinket slot, and a cloak will trigger its power when its wearer takes damage. So the cloak of virtue will block all of the damage from a single hit, and these do have a cooldown or a recharge time. The cloak of sin will damage all nearby hostile mobs for the same amount of damage that the wearer took, and the cloak of balance will evenly split the damage between the attacker and the target, preventing its bearer from dying in the process. And here is the recipes for these here. Then there is the Globetrotter's Sash. This is an upgrade version of the Sojourner's Sash. If you don't know what that one does, it's going to basically make you super duper speedy. Then we have the Black Hole Talisman. This can basically store a stack, I believe, of items that you can then use with your different rods. Then we have the Crimson Pendant. This is going to provide you, it's an upgrade again to the Pyro class pendant. It's going to provide the wearer full-on immunity to fire damage from flames and lava, etc. You can now take a lava bath. Then we have, what do we have after this? Just the Gaia Spirit Ingot. I'm then going to now swap over to a normal world to show you the last two items, which are very exciting indeed and very powerful. So now that we're here, I'm going to show you the last two items. The first is the Mana Storm Charge, which can be used with Living Wood, TNT, and the Gaia Spirit. You're going to want to place it down, say here, and then you're going to shoot it with a blast of mana. So I'm using my Mana Blaster, like this, and basically, let's make sure we put the music on for this. It is going to use an ever-increasing explosion radius like this. And it's actually going to go on for like 5 minutes, basically. Let's do a little time lapse and you can see what it does. Okay, and there you go. So that is the kind of damage a Mana Storm Charge can do. And then last but not least, we are going to be looking at the Shard of Laputa. I don't believe it. So to make the Shard of Laputa, you are going to want to use a floating flower, some Gaia spirits, some runes here, and Dragonstone and some prismarine crystals. So it's basically going to lift up loads of land in a spheroid area around the point it was smashed high into the air. A freshly created shard will lift a sphere about 14 blocks in radius, but the shard's radius can be upgraded with additional Gaia spirits. Each shard adds another block to the radius, up to a radius of 44 blocks. And note that a larger shard can take at least 10 minutes and possibly much more to finish its lifting. So you can, upgrade it here with extra Gaia spirits. You can see power, etc. here. So if we go over here at this lovely little igloo, what you're basically going to do is you're going to shatter it on the ground like this. Just right click. And then you're going to start seeing the blocks are actually being lifted up off the ground. Just like this. So I will do another time lapse of this so you can see exactly what is going to happen. Okay, so you get the idea of how this works. You can see it's taking an incredibly long time. This has been about 10 minutes, I think, so far. And then over here is what a fully finished one, or just about fully finished one, looks like. And you can see the amazing hole that it leaves. This is like, if you've ever played World of Warcraft, Dalaran, the city that they took up out of the earth and moved a few times. It's kind of like that. I mean, look how cool this looks. It's really cool. You could definitely have you could have your base up here, or what you could do is have multiple islands and then bridge them together, etc. I think that'd be really cool. But yeah, so those are all of the things that you can make with Gaia spirits. So I hope you guys enjoyed part 3 of this tutorial. I know I didn't go through every tiny little detail of Botania, but you know, I think I've hopefully given you a really great foundation to look through all of the little extra bits and bobs that we haven't looked through in here. You should better get on with those pretty easily now, I think, with this 3-part tutorial series. If again there is anything you're having trouble with, or if you want to join one of our fun servers, at the moment we have Greg Tech New Horizons, we have all the mods 8, Vault Hunters, etc. All of our public servers are run off a Ryzen 9 7950 X3D with DDR5 RAM, and we have unlimited RAM to use. Well, not unlimited, but like we have so much it's just even a joke. You know, we can just throw as much as we need. So we have the highest possible performing servers, you know, that money can buy. So click that Discord link down below if you want to join those. Or in our Discord, we also help you with any Java, modded Minecraft, launcher, mod queries and issues that you may have. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you next week.